Okay, for today's article, you're going to look at page 45 and we're going to learn about Frederick Douglass. So, just to give you a little bit of background knowledge on Frederick Douglass, he was a former slave and he actually became educated because a slave owner's wife taught him how to read. And he's known for being a pioneer of civil rights. Even during the time of slavery, he was a proponent of everyone having an education, and he was a proponent of course, freed people. And I love this quote by him. I hope it's something that you will live by. I would unite with anybody to do right and with nobody to do wrong. So he's actually known for quite a number of very famous quotes. Okay, so you're going to turn to page 45. It says 46, but it should be 45. And we're going to actually read this article together. Remember to follow along in the article so that we do build our fluency and vocabulary. Frederick Douglass is one of the great civil rights leaders in American history. Douglass was born a slave, but used education as a tool to better himself and improve the status of many other slaves. When Douglass was young and a slave, the slaveholder's wife began to teach him to read at the same time she taught her own son to read. Her husband put a stop to the teaching. He reasoned that if slaves learned to read and write, the slaves would use the abilities to become free. Douglass never forgot this, and from that point on, he worked secretly to learn to read and write. Reading exposed Douglass to new ideas and opinions. He read all the books and newspapers he could find. He also helped other slaves learn to read, risking punishment. Eventually, Douglass escaped and gained his freedom, devoting himself to writing and speaking out against slavery. He told everyone his story and urged people to abandon slavery and grant full rights to slaves. Douglass believed education was the key to freedom. For this reason, he wanted schools to admit Black children. He became a recognized leader for civil rights. During the Civil War, he served as an advisor to President Abraham Lincoln. Douglass told the president that Blacks must be free to fight as soldiers in the war. At his urging, Lincoln freed all the slaves in certain states. After the Civil War, Douglass devoted his efforts to helping Blacks get the right to vote. He helped elect Ulysses Grant president. In return, Grant pushed for the 15th Amendment, which guaranteed that Black men could vote in every state. Douglass continued to speak out for civil rights the rest of his life. During his travels, he often encouraged examples of discrimination. He often encountered examples of discrimination, and he would respond by writing letters to the newspaper, pointing out these examples and calling for change. His story inspired many people to take a stand for civil rights and illustrated the value of education for all people in the United States. And now, on your own paper, answer the questions.